Oh, hey, hi, hello, hey, it's me, Zaylin, finally back with another video. I know it's been like 5 months or so since my last video. I know the whole recording in my college dorm arc and all of that lasted about, well, one video. But hey, we're here, finally back in the room that started all. I can't believe it's been like a full year since that last album cycle, since I was back in here talking about the Vanisher rollout, how we all came together and how that was one of the most important times of my life, and seriously one of the best, about all the people I was able to meet and all the experiences I was able to have during this entire rollout for that album, all just to celebrate our favorite artist right over here. Yeah, that guy right there brought us all together. Crazy to believe, but we're finally back. It's insane. I know it's already May again. To think about the last May we had was during the infamous May 6th incident, which was like the worst 6th day of any month we've ever had, like ever. Well, let's not dwell on the past and let's move on to a brand new era of music for Quadeca and Life1, and the first single released off of Life1, Dark Magic. Thanks to you guys, we have multiple theories submitted by the community and potential questions on what does this all mean, and we getting recruited by Quadeca to a cult? I don't know. What is this ball of flesh here, and where can I buy it for reasons you guys don't have to worry about it? So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. First, we have to break down what is Life1, and to do that, we have to go back to March, where Quadeca posts a story of himself with the caption, "New album, I think I will call it Life1." This would officially be putting us in a new era with not much of a direction going on besides a selfie of himself and a weird caption we had, but we'll quickly figure it out later on when he goes on his Australian tour and posts his first official merch of Life1 here, being represented by the icon himself, Sorry for Dying's bear. Oh my goodness, like look at him. Wow, wearing the Life1 merch here, featuring a picture of Quad when he was a kid and a little drawing of himself when he was a kid as well. This is how you can tell that we're in a brand new Quadeca era when the bear comes out and he's changed of fits. Then you know he's like the Groundhog Day for a quad rollout. You know, whenever he pops out and changes things up again, you know we're in for a treat. And later on, about 2 weeks later, we get our first official teaser of Life1. Funnily enough, I was actually getting my wisdom teeth removed when all this was happening, so you can bet that this guy right here was really surprised when he woke up and saw everything going on. That was a big day and a big Thursday for Quadeca, as later on he posts a story featuring here, and shout out to Quadeca Updates for all these, keeping track of all these things, because it would have been such a hassle to find this in my camera roll. But he posts a story here explaining his new profile picture and the superhero drawing he made as a kid, kind of explaining this album to be sort of a self-titled project, but also leaving the caption, the debut, but also the finale. Lastly, right after that, he posts the vlog, Once Upon a Time, with a bunch of E's, and this vlog seemed to kind of just be a behind-the-scenes moment montage, little quickly edited thing to show off the behind the scenes of making Life1. I don't really know much about what this means as a whole. I'm kind of getting vibes that this was just like a behind the scenes sort of interview type of thing, kind of headspace that he was in whenever he was recording the music videos for Life1 and things all as such. So for as of right now, this doesn't really have much of an explanation, but maybe we'll find out something later. 2 days later after that, he performs at Sunset Festival, performing an unreleased song off of Life1 titled Like You Always Do, reportedly, and it sounds very interesting. Gave us our very first sneak peek into what Life1 could potentially be sounding like. There's no confirmation that this song will be on the album. This could just be a throwaway here. He was also performing Mad at Me during the Australian tours, giving people hints that Mad at Me off of the Scrapyard vinyl could officially be making its streaming release. And with that, on Wednesday, May 27th, he drops the very first single, Dark Magic. Dark Magic has this sort of cryptic intro with the shoegaze guitar, blaring horns, and this evil sounding bass that's just creeping up with these distorted monster voices just raging out through the background and really building up this nervous, intense, like rock vibe that you're coming through. And then very quickly switching into a pop song where Quadeca is asking his shawty to put it on him and to do it again. And that pretty much sums up the 180 fake out that we got from Quadeca at this time. Now, this complete 180 isn't all too unexpected, as he's kind of done these things in the past throughout all of his album cycles. I mean, on Banisher, the biggest 180 I can think of is when Godstained, he started rapping at the very end of that. But the most egregious case, and the one that I remember the most, is during the Where You Go teaser, where he did pretty similar of a thing, where it started off as this angelic singing type that's layered multiple times with this synth beat just rising up and quickly turning into, well, Where'd You Go, which was probably one of the worst listening experiences I've had since the time I bought the Nosferatu movie soundtrack on vinyl. Dude, I could not hear shit. Fair warning, I'm reading off of a script here because I had to write a script because I kept getting distracted and I couldn't stay focused and make this be a coherent project. So I decided to write it all down. So if it looks like I'm looking down at the camera now, it's because I had to write a script for it and make sure I can stay on point. But with all that explained, we can finally explain the theories surrounding this album and the single. And at first, the most popular theory by the community so far is the cult theory. Now, this theory is widely accepted by the community as it originated from an interview clip from Quadeca and Anthony Fantano, in which he mentions the idea of a cult-themed album. So with the symbolism given in this rollout so far, at the prior mention of this concept, that's leading a lot of people to believe this album is about a cult. And thanks to this community, we have a beautiful Word document created by Lambda Feedback. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I really hope I am. I know I have a really bad track history with pronouncing names wrong, so hopefully I pronounced your name right. But they broke down all the signs pointing to this theory being true for Life1. So shout out for them for allowing me to review this doc. The link will be in the description below for you guys to go show love to them, because my words would not do them justice. I promise you that. And I'm just going to be tackling the main points here today. So like I said, if you're interested, make sure you go check this out. It's an amazing theory. The first point we have here today is the cult symbolism shown throughout the rollout and the Dark Magic music video, with the main logo of this album being 5 hands connecting together and showing some sort of unity between everyone, or how Lamb mentions here the collective strength, as the cults have logos based on what they worship, and how this logo potentially shows they worship some sort of goal or unity between themselves with a higher power. We see this logo many times throughout the music video and teaser. Even as the Dark Magic music video, we get this image of these people physically recreating the symbol, showing a sort of worship or devotion, it seems. Lamb also brings up the idea of the cult using love bombing as a recruitment technique, ensuring members stay in this cult by Quadeca by giving out memorabilia such as medals with the logos on it for its followers. Next, they mention the audio-visual elements of the music video, such as the abrupt tone switch into what's compared to the rest of the song, as its quite catchy nature can be used to recruit people into the cult without showing off its true intentions and dark meaning. Kinda like what it's doing to all of us right now who are streaming it and jamming out and dancing to it without really looking at the dark undertones it potentially might have. Just saying. Next, they mention the amalgamation of flesh that Quadeca seems to be worshipping in the music video while being pretty naked. So calm down, Eden and Roxy. I know I have to show it on screen. I know y'all go a little bit crazy when this comes up on there. Finally, they break down the lyrics to the song, which could be used to point towards the cult idea, where Quadeca mentions putting your name next to his, and this idea of marriage, which can imply a relationship either in or out of this cult. He wants to work out despite his worship of the cult. Perhaps lastly, bringing up the Quadeca mentions critics and how these critics can be used not just criticizing his music, but also maybe the cult himself and the ways that he is defending them. Once again, I barely scratched the ideas of the surface of how deep this theory really goes, just giving them a rough overview of the ideas presented in the rollout so far, then maybe we can come back if it's true. But if you're interested in more, there are so many more details in this description, so please read it. I promise you it's a great read and can leave you answering way more questions than you thought, and actually makes a lot more sense. But like every good theory, it has holes in it, and here are some reasons why this theory could be wrong. We mentioned the lyrics as a reason why Quadeca is talking to a loved one in the eyes of a cult member, but this could also very much be him talking to himself in the eyes of just Quadeca. I mean, in the album called Life1, he says this feels like a self-titled album where he's talking as Quadeca himself, no other person. The same way he brings up critics could be the same way he's talking about other people who doubt him based on his past of a YouTuber, and these lyrics about marriage can be about his own personal life, as he's shown to talk about love interests before in songs such as Guide Dog in his own perspective. His most damning piece of evidence against this theory is that Quadeca has explicitly said this is not a concept album, and that he could be lying or finding a loophole into what actually is a concept album. Sure, but I kind of doubt it, and I feel like with all the material of this album being so closely related to himself and not much of a character, such as the ghost from I Didn't Mean to Haunt You or a setting like the ocean horizon from Vanisher, it's hard to say this is a concept album about a cult when it's so different from everything we've seen before, unless he actually maybe just is in a cult and he's just really hard launching this idea to all of us. Next up, we have a theory from our very own Gulp member, Cam, and before I even mentioned anything about this theory, as we're recording this, it's Camden's birthday today, so can we all say happy birthday? Yes, you. No, I'm not looking at the script. I'm looking at you. I'm saying this from the heart. This isn't on my screen. I'm telling you. Say happy birthday right now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, I hope you said it. So we can finally go up. I hope you have an amazing day, Cam. You've been an awesome person. It's so nice meeting you. You've been absolutely amazing in the community. We love you. You're an awesome person. I hope you have 1,000 more birthdays and get all the gifts you want, and like you walk across the street and find $1 million, because that's the type of person you are. And I think good things happen to good people, and I think you're a good person. So I hope you have a great one. Take care. Okay, this theory goes back to the original idea that Quad mentioned years ago, even before I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, that all his albums were connected in the same universe. This suggests that the heart from Waging War music video belongs to the fetus that's been born, which is Benjamin. I can't believe this guy's music is making me say all of this. That's kind of a crazy sentence, but whatever. Cam also mentioned in the song That's Why off of Vanisher would quote, "If I woke up, that's the other idea," tying into Born Yesterday from I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, where he mentioned, "If I just saved the date, I'd be here with you right now," implying that there was also another alt universe where he alt F4'd himself into leading the idea that Vanish was a tale of a dead man or slash ghost, which explains the fear of death and natural causes, finally leading into Life1, which can be viewed as being reborn and starting again as the same character, a reborn version of the same character that passed and I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. Now, I really like this theory as it ties to my favorite piece of Quad Echo lore that a lot of people ignore, which Quad stated that all his albums are connected. Now, that could be thrown out the window, as Quad may have just been feeling himself at that time, and there's nothing really backing it up, but as for me to you, there is a direct sequel to Voice Memos, as that character fighting his demons and finding his high school love sweetheart, breaking up and going into college are one and two things. Even in I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, the ghost makes mentions of mountains and going offline, which are direct references to For Me to You, implying that they could be the same person. Let's just hope that that breakup didn't mean he was fantasy worlding himself, and that's really what happened to the same character we heard back in Voice Memos talking about, and like that. That scrapyard can be viewed as just that, a scrapyard of this character's life, and different moments we're able to peek into, leaving Vanisher, as what Cam mentioned, as some sort of alternate reality where the ghost story told I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, but still being connected to the grand plot as a whole. I think the biggest major flaw in this theory is that Quad already seemed to kind of forgotten about this or abandoned the idea of these albums being connected, or maybe as they once were with Voice Memos and For Me to You, with slight connections being Danny Brown being the voice of insanity once you lose your mind and start seeing things and stuff, with I Didn't Mean to Haunt You and Vanisher having him be carbon dioxide and a dragon. And there are some major leaps you have to take and connections you have to force yourself to make with Vanisher and even Life1 to be connected to each other, or honestly everything as a whole. But all in all, this is a fun theory, and even if I ever get into writing fanfic, and best believe, if I was writing fanfic, I would be writing Quad Echo fanfic, and I would be connecting all these albums in the best way possible into some nice little soap opera where they all make sense and it's all the same character. Trust me on that one. Lastly, I'm going to mention some one-off theories we have here today submitted by you guys on Twitter, so thank you so much to you guys. These aren't the cult theory or the everything connected in the same universe theory. So with our first theory here, we have it coming from Tigups, who amazingly enough created our thumbnail we have today. So thank you so much. Absolutely just did that out of the kindness of their heart, which is so nice. I absolutely love you. You're such a goat, and you guys should totally stream their new album, The Impending Change. It's absolutely a great listen. I remember they may or may not have been mentioned in my last video. Hint hint, wink wink. Shameless plug here, but we're going to talk about their theory they submitted, which says Quadeca summons a parallel life to his own through dark magic in order to create an all-encompassing paradox that destroys the world. And you know what? I low-key like that album. The Dark Magic music video doesn't really debunk this, honestly. This was all asked before Dark Magic got posted, and to be fair, this kind of doesn't seem too crazy. I mean, to say that he summons a parallel life and uses dark magic to get this paradox. Maybe that could explain the flesh ball amalgamation we have. That could be the original one before he got through this parallel universe. I don't know. I think that's a very interesting theory. It's very out there, very wacky, but honestly something I could definitely see Quadeka doing. Next we have a theory by Purple Abstract here, which they also make music. Hey, look at us, this community full of creatives here. I absolutely love you guys. Their music will be linked down in the description below because they are sick. You think I'm not going to give shout outs to everybody here because they're all amazing. But lastly, our another theory is that the creature in the video is meant to represent Quadeka being born, and this whole album is basically meant to represent the life and death of Quadeka being reborn as Benjamin. This ties back to what Cam was saying too, on how that flesh ball was kind of Benjamin and how he's shedding this alias of Quadeka and him becoming his true self in Life1. And I do kind of like that idea of it being this sort of physical or visual representation of shredding an alter ego and becoming one with yourself and making music, as he has been creating characters for his music for the past couple of years. Since 2019, honestly, you can say that the character we have in voice memos isn't truly Quadeka, as he was using fighting demons and metaphors to show off this version of himself in high school. And then For Me to You, he uses the themes of climbing through a mountain and going through mountaintops and all these imagery to show a breakup. Then next he goes into becoming a ghost when he was going through a very dark and depressing time where he was a ghost and all F4'd himself and talked about the feelings he was going through there. Or lastly on Vanisher, where he described it as being a sailor trying to find his purpose in life, and it being a way broader ambition but still a concept of a different version of Quadeka that we'd never seen before, a character of an alt version of himself, similar to what Tyler Creator does when he creates all these alter egos of himself for his album rollouts. You know, giving yourself a different version of yourself just to put in your music to show off a piece of who you truly are. And Quadeka using this album Life1 to shed that skin and become his true self. I think that's a really cool idea, and honestly would kind of be what I want the most out of this album if it wasn't going to be a concept album. Next we have a theory by Potato Man saying, I think he kills the current self-image of himself / ego, go back to the purest form of whatever this is, as he would put it. Then there's a turn and shift around sound-wise midway through the album where it sounds more hopeful and happy, kind of like the opposite of Vanisher. I think that would be really interesting. I know this did come out before Dark Magic, where we saw the sound shift happen mid-song or at the beginning of the song instead of midway through the album, but maybe Dark Magic is a second half album. We have no idea where Dark Magic will lead up on the track list, and to think that he can just switch it up and kind of become the purest form of whatever he is goes back to all the other theories we have of him reverting back to the original version of Quadeka and using Life1 to kind of go back to basics and shed this idea of being maybe a YouTube rapper and truly use this album to become an artist and change that label he has around himself, as he's always been an artist, but maybe going to this true form of himself and trying to knock off all the narratives that he's already had on himself. Lastly, we have a theory by Bear in Mind off of Quad Twitter saying another version of a cult theory, but saying something makes me feel like this. He's a Charles Manson type cult leader, tricking people into joining his cult through empty promises on vulnerable people, asking them to do things for gaining their trust. This would be a very interesting theory. Once again, I'm pretty sure this one came out after Dark Magic, and would say that Quadeka is the leader, leader of this cult, which is kind of shown and very much hinted upon, if it was to be a cult, that Quadeka serves some sort of leadership position, or that he is higher up, as he seems to be recruiting people, handing out medals to people, and giving things around to people, and being the reason why they celebrate, and going up into that random place in public and holding up that amalgamation of flesh there in front of random civilians. Him kind of being a leader there and trying to recruit people. And I think this is a good version of the cult theory on how Quadeka may potentially be a leader and not just the member of the cult, but the actual leader, and how he's trying to get everyone to join along. Charles Manson type is kind of funny and kind of crazy, but you know what? I respect it, and I honestly think Quad is crazy enough to go down that route. Other theories here shows him posing in front of the Scientology building that he posted on like his background images, like behind the scenes of the music video here. And also someone pointing out that this tree low-key kind of looks like an eye in it, like you see it right there, how it kind of looks like there's an eye right there. We don't know if that's true or not, but that would be super freaky and super weird if it actually was. So just another thing thrown out there. And lastly, we have this theory that I made on my own, kind of scrapped up, but tries to encapsulate everything that we've had so far. And this theory is that this album is just a pop album, disguised to trick us all into believing it's a bigger concept, and us fans being the hypothetical cult that he's mentioning or symbolizing, and how we're all reading way too much into things and making way too long YouTube videos talking about an album that could potentially not have a concept and grasping at straws for lore. This would be rough, but would be kind of funny, and a complete evolution and concept into him escaping this YouTube rapper persona and becoming his own artist while also making some of his catchiest songs he's ever made. And that can hopefully build a lot of traction and get him a lot more fans than the fan base he has now. Like maybe the cult-like following he has now. I don't know. That's just something that I made up while I was like writing the script down and reading all these theories. Very, very early in the morning. And I definitely need to go to bed. As you can see, the sun is out now. So that probably didn't make any sense. But you know what? That's just something I was thinking. That's what it's all about. So those are all the theories we have for Life1. And no matter what this album turns out to become, whether it's about a cult, another building block in a cinematic music universe, or just a love story about him breaking up with a shawty, I'm just happy to be with you guys along the way, along the ride. Whether it's Eden breaking something while reacting to the song, or Cheese putting out an edit within like 20 seconds of this music video being posted, I'm just so happy to be back and here for another quad echo rollout. Truly couldn't imagine being anywhere else. You guys have truly changed my life. Just being in this community has made me so much happier. Going to college last year and kind of all the changes I was going through, one constant that I had in my life, thing that wasn't changing, was the music and the people that I interacted with. So thank you, all of you, truly. I really hope to be making more YouTube videos this summer. I'm not as stressed. I'm not doing too much. Hopefully they get significantly better, because I love doing this. Actually, I love sitting in front of a camera and talking to you guys and talking about things I love, and it's nice to know that people also love the same things I love. So thank you. Shout out to Gulp, honestly. You guys know who you are. Y'all are so amazing. Help me way more than you think you do. You guys are more than just my friends. You guys help me out all the time. Shout out to everyone graduating this year. I know that we have a lot of people graduating in the community, so shout out to you guys. And last but not least, thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone who submitted theories and helped this video become possible. I love all of you guys. Sorry about how rushed this video is, but I just want to talk about quad, and hopefully I do it again and again and again. Hopefully Shotty puts it on me and does it again.
No matter what you do, if you put it on the internet, someone's gonna hate it. Like, no matter what, someone's gonna hate it. But it's fun. Like, I get to have fun. Like, I'm here and I get to do this, so I don't care. They're on the internet. It doesn't matter.
I don't